So, this episode is going to be again about When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chödrön, however it is pronounced, I still don't know. And I think I'll never know. I really think that I'll never know that, but yeah. And there's going to be more after the intro. And this probably was going to be the last episode, I assume. I don't know, but I assume. So, yeah. With that being said, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I'm really looking forward to recording this episode. Yeah, this is, as I said, probably going to be the last one since there's not really that much left. It depends on how fast I'm going to be today. Maybe I'm even going to be just way too fast and therefore we might be going through like something else based on that. Maybe there's some similar books to that. Maybe Pema, whatever, also has written other books. We might be having a look at these things then, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see, and we are then gonna have a look at it. So there's a few things that I'm willing to talk about before I even start the episode. The first thing is, why do I even go through everything just all the time? I mean, please check out the description and the show notes if you're on a podcast, and just do whatever with it. There's 3 things, there's 3 downloads, there's a PDF, there's a summary of this summary, there is like quite a lot of things that you'll be contributing of, so please check out the links in the description. Everything should be actually kind of quote-unquote explained, so therefore there shouldn't be anything that, I don't know, is like that and you don't know why it's there and all those things. But yeah, let's see. So as you can see there, it's really not that much left. So we are probably going to finish up with this one today. If you sit still, you'll see something. If you're very quiet, you'll hear something. Yes, it's definitely the case. But I don't know what this is going to teach me or what this is trying to teach me. Maybe like that there is always something. Could be the case, I don't know. The more we connect with a bigger perspective, the more we connect with energetic joy. I mean, like having a bigger perspective or having a big perspective, which I'm kind of translating into having quote-unquote long-term goals or thinking long-term, I think is one of the best things you can ever do. Because most often those things that are really, really short-term things are just things that you shouldn't be doing. Drinking, short-term, smoking is short-term. Like such a lot of things are short-term actions that we're just taking or that we're just doing, most often because of pleasure. Maybe also because of boredom, maybe because of some other reasons as well. But most often it's going to be those 2 things. As also James Clear pointed out when he was talking about habits in general, like there's 2 reasons why we are just doing things. It is either boredom or it is just because we're stressed, which is the other one. But yeah, anyway, it is like walking up on a cold, snowy day in a mountain cabin, ready to go for a walk, but knowing that first you have to get out of bed and make a fire. You would rather stay in the cozy bed, but you jump out and make the fire because the brightness of the day in front of you is bigger than staying in bed. And it definitely is not about sleeping, and it definitely is also not about staying in bed. It's definitely a metaphor, or just, it's talking about something else as well. And I would say it is just actually talking about suicide and suicidal thoughts, because, and this is something other people have been talking about, and I might have been talking about it before as well, but I'm not quite sure. Those people that are willing to commit suicide, they see and think that living your life is not as good as dying. So they're associating dying with more pleasure than living, which is kind of the case with this one as well. Associating more pleasure with staying in bed, in your warm and cozy bed, than getting up and just making that fireplace or making that fire. So think about that. Like it truly makes sense, and it is kind of a not really funny thing, but it is just interesting that it is something that makes sense. Because if you don't really want to live, or if there's no pleasure in living, then of course you're not gonna live, or you're not willing to live. The thing there is, isn't there really any pleasure to this? Isn't there really any pleasure in your relationship maybe as well? Isn't there any pleasure in doing some tedious tasks? I guess it is about perspective. It is about seeing things or just trying to find things. I do not want to say seeing things, because I don't know if you can see things when there is nothing of it. In terms of okay, I'm trying to see a snake right now. The thing is, I might be kind of hallucinating and seeing some snake in terms of my watch maybe. I might just associate this or think that this is a snake. But I mean trying to, it is not there. and therefore I'm just trying to find things. And if I'm trying to find a snake, then of course I could also say like, okay, not having a snake, but I guess this watch, which is kind of looking like a snake, I could also use that one as a snake, So therefore I think that, I don't know, just trying to see things is maybe not as good as trying to find things. Gonna do it like this. I don't, by the way, know why it is so echoey in my room, because I'm actually having something in front of me, so that I'm kind of absorbing it a tiny little bit. But I don't know if it is even helping. Kinda, I think. But hello, 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 hello. I don't know, like I think it is just not that good. And I know that when I'm just then editing it, it's not gonna be such a good thing in terms of the audio quality. But yeah, I know it's hopefully gonna be fine. It is hopefully gonna be fine. The next one. One of the best practice for everyday living when you don't have time for meditation is to notice your opinions or our opinions. We tend to make them as truth, label them as opinions, just as we label thoughts as thoughts. All ego really is our opinions, which we take to be solid, real, and the absolute truth about how things are. To have even a few seconds of doubt about the solidity and absolute truth of your own opinions, just to begin to see that we do have opinions, introduces us to the possibility of egolessness. We don't have to make these opinions go away, and we don't have to criticize ourselves for having them. And we don't have to judge us for having them. I mean, like, if you're just thinking like, well, some racist fucking things, or if you're having some racist fucking opinions, then, well, maybe thinking about it and thinking, well, does that make sense? It's probably letting you realize that it does not really make any fucking sense. It still depends, like, of course, if you're just really a blood-born, or however it is called, or whatever I'm willing to say, I don't know. If you're just really, I don't know, a Nazi or some shit, then of course you're going to be like, well, okay, it's because of this reason, it's because of that reason. And it just truly has something to do with being able to kind of criticize yourself in terms of like just thinking about it in a quote-unquote correct way. Because of course, there is going to be a lot of reasons and a lot of, there's going to be a lot of statements that are going to underline your thought and your opinion, even though they do not make any fucking sense. In terms of like, you're having an opinion that doesn't make any fucking sense and you're underlining it with something that doesn't as well make any fucking sense. But it is working because you believe in it, or we believe in it. So yeah, it is a little bit of a fucked up thing. Don't let ourselves be swept away by opinions of good and evil, or hope and fear. And by opinions in general, because we all have our opinions and it is what it is. The less our speech and actions are clouded by opinion, the more they will communicate. Yes, I'd say so. Just the truth. Yes, just as it is, or how it is. There's a lot of ways we can just, miscommunicate things. In terms of like just adding things because it is our opinion, or just leaving out things because it is our opinion, just doing something with the action, doing something with the communication, so that in the end it is not really like what it really has been. Do everything as it were the only thing in the world that mattered, while all the time knowing that it doesn't matter at all. Which is going to set you really on ease, I'd say. If you really think that whatever you're doing, whether it is just me podcasting here right now, whether it is just taking an exam in school, it doesn't really matter at all. Of course, some things might matter more than other things, but in the big picture is that it is a constitution of just all the different things that you've done in your life. It's not one thing that did everything. Of course, like there's probably or maybe going to be a huge thing like, okay, you're having the opportunity to be a star or pretty famous and be an actor and whatnot. And if you're like, well, I do not want to take that because of certain reasons, then yeah, it's going to change things and it is going to matter. But I mean, yeah, as long as you're happy, as long as you're just fucking healthy, a lot of things do not matter that much. Of course, health matters. But I wouldn't necessarily say that you should just putting in your everything into whatever the fuck you're doing. I wouldn't really say so. And now my just keys aren't working anymore, and I don't know why. Well, yeah. Because like there's a lot of things that you don't like. And there's also a lot of things that I don't like to do. Or it is just not my favorite thing to do. Especially when it is just about organizing shit. Like all the files on my PC, like they're so fucking messed up and whatnot. Because I just don't like doing that. So I'm also not gonna do that. It is a fucked up thing, I know. but it is like I'm not gonna put my heart and soul into that, because it would actually be kind of a waste of time to do so. But anyway, let's see. To speak and act without aggression is an enormous challenge. Well, yeah, because you have to think about the other person, and because you have to do something for the other person, think about the other person, and then do something based on that thought or that basically assumption. Ideas about how to live and how to act and what is important in life. Okay. Intellectually, he knew all about the compassion, but when he saw a filthy, lice-invested dog, he looked away. Well, yeah, it is often the case, isn't it? That we, in theory, know what something is, but, thinking about it and saying to do something is not doing it. The truth is like a dog yearning over a bowl of burning oil. He can't leave it because it is too desirable, and he can't lick it because it is too hot. Well, I can't just draw a parallel to something that is kind of human-like, because I thought about money, but I wouldn't necessarily say so, and I also thought about other goods right at this time. But there's probably going to be something that's completely the exact same thing for us, which might be also one of the reasons why she pointed it out. Meditation practice is how we stop fighting with ourselves and how we stop struggling with circumstances, emotions, or moods. Yes, because emotions can get into our way, and also moods. Start by working with the monster in your mind. It is wonderful your demons came today, you must come again tomorrow. From time to time we shouldn't talk, invite what scares us to introduce itself and hang around for a while. In her tradition, they did not exercise demons, they threatened them with compassion or treated them with compassion. And then you're probably gonna see that whatever the fuck you're thinking about, which you don't really like, in terms of like you don't like what you're thinking about, that it is fine, that it is okay, and that you're gonna move on any fucking way. Approach what you find repulsive, help the ones you think you cannot help, and go to places that scare you, and they're gonna teach you quite a lot of shit. I tend to not do that though. Maybe I'm actually gonna do this today. I don't know. Maybe. I'll see. Use difficult situations to awaken your genius or our genuine caring for other people. I don't necessarily think that we need difficult situations for doing that. But yeah, anyway. Just being able to care for other people and being kind and all these things are fucking important, and you should be having a look at those things, or you just should be thinking about those things. Instead of thinking of it as sitting down to meditate, we can think of it as training to lighting up, to have a sense of humor, and to relax. Especially relax, I'd say. Thinking that we have ample time to do things later is the greatest myth, the greatest hang-up, and the greatest poison. If we knew that tonight we were going to go blind, we would take a longing, last real look at every blade of grass, every cloud formation. If you knew that we were going to be deaf tomorrow, we would treasure every single sound. Yes, it is the case, because we're always, we are always seeking the things that we're not having, isn't it? If I'm blind, then of course, one of the greatest things that I maybe am wishing for is just being able to see the daylight and all those things. Like, maybe also the same exact thing with money. Those people that are not having a lot of money, they are just wishing for money, that are working for money. But those people that are having a lot of money, they are just searching for something else. They're searching maybe for fulfillment. They're searching for accomplishing their goals. They're searching for something different. And, I think it just also makes sense. Like, of course, you're gonna just go for these things that you're not having. Because why should you go for things that you are already having? Wouldn't make too much sense, I'd say. The Samaya bond. If the student accepts and trusts the teacher completely and the teacher accepts the student, they can enter into the unconditional relationships called Samaya. The teacher will never give up on a student, no matter how mixed up her or she might be. And he or she might be, and the student will also never leave the teacher, no matter what. The student and teacher are bound together. It is like a pact that they make to attain enlightenment together. The whole Samaya relationship, whether it is with the phenomenal world as absolute teacher or with an individual person, is about softening us up. It softens us up so that we can't deceive ourselves. Gonna just highlight that. Even though it is a long one, I think it is an interesting concept. But I don't know, it must be one of the just fucking, especially I like the later part, okay, if you're having a bond with the world, then you're gonna do your best, and you're not gonna give up, and you're not gonna leave the world, and all those things. Even though, if you're not leaving the world and you're just basically living here as a ghost, as I'm just going through these scenarios, then I think it wouldn't necessarily be the best thing to have, isn't it? On the other hand, I do have to say, like, what is this? Like, it must be such a really, really difficult decision that you're making. You know, if you think like, okay, I'm gonna be with this person for the rest of my fucking life, or I'm gonna be working with this person for the rest of my fucking life. Of course, I'm then just choosing somebody that's just really, really over the top of goodness. Well, yeah. Looking for alternatives, better sight than we see, better sounds than we hear, a better mind than we have, keeps us from realizing that we could stand with pride in the middle of our life and realize it is a sacred mandala, because our life is amazing. It truly is. The student of Vajrayana Buddhism or something should always be in a state of panic. It is so unfamiliar to us to make such a total commitment to being awake that it unnerves us. Not gonna highlight this one because I don't know if you should actually be always in a state of panic. What the Dharma is about, turning all your habits around, reversing the process of how we make everything so solid. Maybe, and I think it is something that Tim Ferriss been talking about. I think just reversing the habits that you're having, just doing the complete opposite for one day, might be showing you quite some things. Might be something to think about, might be something to talk about, might be something to do with something, whatever. Maybe, as I'm thinking about it, I think it would be a good experiment also for me, like just doing the complete opposite, even though I don't like it. Like, I'm so used to whatever I'm doing, I'm so used to the lifestyle that I'm having, I'm so used to whatever the fuck it is all about. I kind of don't really want to change anything up, but yeah, I'm gonna highlight this one as well. Stop. Do something unfamiliar. Do anything besides rushing off in the same old direction, up to the same old tricks. Yes, and it is actually something that I should be thinking about more, because in terms of the podcast, I'm always doing the exact same fucking shit. Always. Sitting here once again, and I've been doing quite the same shit for some time, Really important, just changing up things, because if you're always doing the exact same thing and it is not working out, like, why should it? I mean, of course, in terms of the podcast and in terms of speaking and whatnot and of entertainment, I'm just getting better and better and better each and every day and each and every year, quote, unquote, year. Or actually, well, yeah, I think even, I don't want to say week, but I'd say like every month I'm probably going to be better. Yeah, and every month I'm just knowing more because I'm going through such a lot of fucking information. The source of wisdom is whatever is going to happen to us today. If we find ourselves in what seems like a rotten or painful situation, think, well, how is this enlightenment? So just thinking about it in a positive way, just thinking about the things that you can learn from that, because we can learn such a lot from every fucked up situation. We feel frequently, maybe continuously, at a crossroads, never knowing what's ahead. It is an insecure way to live. Use it as a question about how to let this very situation wake us up further. Use a difficult situation to encourage ourselves to take a leap, to step out into the ambiguity. I think it's ambiguity. And the last one is, there are two ways to go to the gas chamber, free or not free. I'm just thinking what this is trying to tell me. But I don't know, like, yeah, you're either just forced to go into there, or you can just go on your own and just do it because you wanted to. Is this what they're referring to? Because I don't know. Well, anyway, this is going to be the end of the episode, and I'm also then going to put in, and I always forget about it. I always forget about just taking the notes that I'm taking and just do it in the PDF and then just upload them and whatnot. But I'm going to do this with the whole one, and so you're going to have the whole one and do something with the whole one. So it's not going to be episode per episode, but it's going to be the whole article. But yeah, I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success, and I also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which means that you just are a nice person, then you're also going to be remembered as a nice person. As simple as that, I'd say. But there's other 3 questions that I'm having to talk about, or that I'm willing to give to you. Why are you here? Which is the first one. The second one is, what are you trying to change? And the third one is, what is bothering you the most? They are important. Please ask yourself these questions, and I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So please, maybe subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel so that I'm definitely going to see you the next time. Bye.